What's up, buddy?
I'm muted.
You were muted.
I was muted.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. I got technical difficulties.
All right. That's
My
okay.
brain's not technically that good.
That's what happens on live streams. We've had worse happen.
No.
Right?
You don't say.
So how's it going?
It's going good, bro. It's going good, man.
How's the campaign going?
So very good, actually. A good question to ask to jump off here, I guess. Just a reminder, some things on the upcoming election. We had an official announcement that Mrs. Honan has withdrawn from the race.
Sorry.
It's okay. So yeah,
this one.
Yeah, or that one.
I could go on.
Go on.
So your opponent, the one who ran unopposed 4 years ago.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All of a sudden, somebody opposes her. I think you in particular. And I'm too busy now. Not buying it. But hey, listen, she's out, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I actually look. I know, having been involved in this for a little while, games get played. People pull papers for counselor seats and school committee at the same time. They get signatures for both. Some people sometimes go so as far as to admit for both, and at the last minute they have to make a decision on which. It's a chess game. In this particular case, I'm 100% sure that this was an orchestrated deal to try to keep me from running, because she gave a full-throated support. She gave her full-throated support to Max, and she's having a coffee hour for him. So, I mean,
she's having a coffee hour for him, but she hasn't done anything like that in 4 years.
It's her right to do it, right? Yeah. So
good luck.
So there's that. August 25th, 5:30 p.m. That's a Friday night at our friends at Adriana's Cafe and Bakery. They have beer and wine and burgers. The campaign, or the Todd Sacco campaign, will be purchasing the first 15 cheese or hamburgers starting at 5:30. And it's meet the candidate night.
All right.
Some other interesting news.
I just want to say that from what I understand, to quote Jules from Pulp Fiction, that is a tasty burger.
Yeah, those are tasty burgers.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash it down? I forgot to write down the date, but there's an end of summer bash. I thought it was September 19th. The Chamber of Commerce stepping up.
Finally.
End of summer. Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yep.
Did you see, by the way, Drop Zone had an event, the classic car event on Sunday. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Good job on their part, man.
Yeah. Good music, interesting cars.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking under those hoods at some of those muscle cars from the 70s, and you're like, wow, I can actually get in there and turn a wrench. Right now, you can't. You can't.
I had a 73 Eldorado, Cadillac Eldorado convertible, Apollo yellow, right? It was like a 501 inch, like 501 cubic inch engine. You could literally sit down on the bumper and work on that engine. Oh, yeah. It's so big, right? Yeah. Now today, my Lexus, the only cap available when you open the hood, literally the only thing available is the windshield wiper fluid. Everything else is cut, like they put a cover over it.
How do you get to the You know where I'm going.
Yeah, they have the antifreeze. Well, I don't have antifreeze. You got coolant and you got the windshield wiper. That's it.
Those two. Okay.
Those two is it.
Yeah.
Which is almost good, I guess, because I don't want to be.
You don't want to be under the hood.
Start dabbling in that mess. Because it's a computer now.
Yeah. So we also have some a little bit. There was a meeting last night in what is it? The Fire Station Development Committee. I don't even know what the name of the committee is. How bad is that? Really a nothing meeting. If you've been paying attention, if you haven't, it's on. You can watch it for replay on WCAT. They basically talked about how they got here, why this area or why the particular place they've chosen, why not the other areas that folks were pointing out. I would encourage people to watch it. And more what I think is good news. So my son and Aaron Daigneau's son, they play lacrosse together. And we were up in Beverly last night for one of the playoff games. Anyway, long story short, he and I were having a conversation about this situation. And he's making overtures to Patsy to invite them and help them, be part of helping to get them out of there and into the new spot, into his spot that used to be Katie's Kitchen.
Wow.
It took me for a while to get that out. Yeah. Lots of parking available there. I mean, I just think a better overall, visibility,
Yep. I
don't know. I think that if that works out, I think that would be good.
Absolutely.
And I applaud, and another thing he asked me to clear up. So there's been some, he is not in any way, shape, or form affiliated with the Chris Young building and the Wadsworth building that Chris Young owns. He's not part of that at all. No part. He wanted me to clear that up because he had heard that people thought he was involved. He's not.
Okay, good.
That's it. You're up to speed. What's going on now? Is that it? Good night. See you later.
We have a guest tonight.
Oh, we do. That's right.
Yeah. I believe he had a book. He had a number one book, a bestseller.
Best-selling author, right?
Yeah. On Amazon, I believe, under the military category.
He's a Boston police officer, too.
Boston police officer, very seasoned police officer.
Yep.
He's had a quite a journey to get to BPD, but I've known his father and his uncle and his aunt for practically my whole life, and I've kind of followed him through his father and his uncle, his career. So let's bring him on. My friend, your friend, and Winthrop, legend in the process.
Yeah, that's it. Living.
Andy Biggio Jr.
Andy Biggio. What's up, bro?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? We're all guys here, right? I can call you guys.
Yes, yes. No pronouns on this show, buddy.
Hold on now. No.
No pronouns on this show, my friend.
Listen, you have the right to speak your free mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is a safe space.
That's a very good candidate answer.
Right, I'm learning.
Very good.
Sharpening my skills.
So how you doing, my friend?
Really well, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. Love Winthrop.
Yeah.
Family's been here since the early 1900s, and everything's going good right now, and I want to keep it up and be a good influence for my two sons. So you started. Well, let's go back before your law enforcement career. When did you join the Marines? I remember when you did, and I know your father was not happy. I started the recruiting process in 2005.
All right.
Yep. And he wasn't happy, but it kind of
came out of nowhere, right?
Not really. I mean,
no. Had you been leaning in that direction? Did you?
Oh God, yeah. Since freaking kindergarten, I was playing Army men and guns and toys, and using tree branches as rifles with my friends. And
your family has a little bit of a military background. There's in mine, this military goes way back.
Absolutely.
Like yours is the same way, yeah?
Yeah, mother's side, father's side, everyone was Italian immigrants. Everyone got drafted into World War II. Great backgrounds, some of the greatest battles they served in. And, I'm named after my grandfather's brother who was killed in action, who's named at Herman and Main Street. The intersection's named after him there, Andrew Biggio Square. That's the first and original Andrew Biggio, gave his life at age 19. So having his namesake and then me joining the Marines, obviously I wanted to live the life he couldn't live after so many other 19-year-olds like him gave their lives in World War II that we'll never know. Our students, our youth will never know, and this country will never know if they're just the intersections of streets squares, so.
Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely. So you went into the Marines in 2005. You went to Paris Island?
Yes.
All right. And then from there, where did your journey take you? Now I know you've probably told this story. I don't know, 1,000 times is probably a low number, but there's a lot of people that watch this show that might not know, but we would like them to know.
Yeah, I went to boot camp, and then I went to the School of Infantry in North Carolina, Camp Geiger, right next to Camp Lejeune, and then right after that, I was mobilized for Iraq. So I served in Iraq, and came home, began college, and then I got to go to Afghanistan as well with a reserve unit here out of New England, a Marine Infantry unit out of New Hampshire, and served in Afghanistan all of 2011. Iraq in 2007, and I got out New Year's Day 2012, and I finished 6 years in the Marines. I served in a bunch of other, areas and country and stuff like that too. And I got out as a sergeant because my whole thing was I wanted to be a police officer and I wanted to be a Marine. And I got both of those done by the age of 26.
So Andy, So Andy, what was the most surprising thing to you over in the Middle East? I'm very, I've talked to a few people that have gone to the Middle East, and my cousin was a Marine too. And so I've heard different things that surprised them. I'm very curious about what was most surprising to you.
Well, I mean, we could talk about a whole podcast on this stuff alone. I mean, there's so many differences between Iraq and Afghanistan. What section of Afghanistan you were in. They speak Dari, Pashto, and Farsi in Afghanistan. I was in the Farsi section, which was closer to Iran. What's the most surprising to me is the fact that Afghanistan is somehow in Taliban hands. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't even remember anyone even having the balls to admit they were a Taliban in front of me. How there could be that many of them to take over a whole country again when we leave is just mind-blowing after seeing hundreds of thousands of Afghan troops lined up in rows, hundreds of thousands of vehicles, hundreds of thousands of equipment, guns. How it was just handed back to the Taliban, I just do not understand it. I don't get it. Perhaps these three-letter agencies that are supposed to know this stuff, not the 20-year-old infantry Marine who will pull the trigger or kill someone you ask them to and defeat whatever enemy you put in front of them. But for these three-letter agencies to F this whole thing up and our government to F this whole thing up is beyond me, because a 19-year-old could have solved the problem over there with his M16, and somehow the terrorists are back in control again. And then hopefully there's not another 9/11 and my kids have to go and solve the problem again. So that is a surprise to me. It really is. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I don't believe it for 1 second for any Afghan veteran to say, "Oh, I don't care what's going on over there." That's BS. They definitely care. I lost friends over there. I had tons of friends wounded over there. And for these maggots to be back into control over there is ridiculous. The only thing I can think is maybe they thought the Taliban were in better shape to have the country than ISIS-K to have the country. It's just such a loaded conversation. I don't know, and I could be totally wrong about my opinions and everything, but
I don't think you are.
It's such bullshit. It's such bullshit.
They're in charge with I don't know, $1 billion worth of free military equipment,
U.S. military equipment,
and machinery, and just given to them. Just take it.
This wasn't the Vietnam thing where we were just splitting the country in two and letting the bad guys have half of it. And this was total. We won every battle, but somehow you lose the war. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think our guys would have been happy to do deployments over there for the next 20 years to make sure these guys don't get in control again or have a country to operate. Mind you, like, it was a volunteer military. Our guys were going there voluntarily. They wanted to see combat. They wanted to be a warrior. They wanted to be like their grandfathers who fought in wars. Like, nobody was dragging our youth over there to defend Afghanistan or fight terrorism. Guys I know and that were shoulder to shoulder with me wanted to be there for whatever purpose. Even if they didn't believe in defeating terrorism, they were there because they wanted the GI Bill, or they needed a job, or wanted to serve, or needed experience, or build a resume, or wanted the veteran home loan, or whatever the hell it was. Guys wanted to be there. So you were an organized military. This wasn't a draft like, Vietnam and stuff like that.
Right. So you got out, you came home. Fortunately, not to the type of America that Vietnam vets came home to, right? You came home more welcome. And actually, I think maybe I'm wrong, but the government was a little more prepared as far as wounded vets. And the VA I think they probably handle it better than they did back then, although the VA is still kind of a warped wheel, as you probably know, as I know. So you came back to that, and you went into what? You went into law enforcement right away?
Well, the country and the VA were prepared for the average soldier to come home, and we got huge welcomes by everybody. Didn't matter, Republican, Democrat. Everybody was supportive of the troops, but they were not prepared for the traumatically wounded veterans.
There was more. I think more. I just put it this way: there's more amputees from these wars than all wars combined, I think.
Well, the survivability is just a lot different. We have guys getting flown off the battlefield within minutes of losing their legs or losing a piece of their skull, as opposed to, like, the other wars. So guys were surviving these devastating injuries more, and then they would get discharged and go home, and then it would take almost a year to get their house modified for the VA housing grant to be approved and sent to them. So that's why I started the Boston's Wounded Vet Run 13 years ago, the big motorcycle charity ride.
Right.
So I came home, went back to college, and realized I started to meet a lot of wounded veterans that I just wanted to fill the holes where the government wasn't filling them for them. Started my own nonprofit with the help of the biker community to help severely wounded veterans. And we ended up, over the last 13 years, we probably raised $2-3 million. Never took a salary. Every nickel was distributed amongst the most severely wounded veterans in New England and now the country.
Right.
A real fundraising effort, a real charitable program. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Andy, that's great work by you.
Thank you. Yeah. It's, people always were like, oh, you can take a salary as long as it's a moderate, salary. And I'm like, no, I don't need that. That's why I'm a police officer. I couldn't sleep at night making money off my wounded brothers and sisters. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who make money off nonprofits, but it's just, that's not my experience. That's not my goal. That's not why I started. I want to be a police officer. And I didn't start it. I didn't see these guys as dollar signs when I was with them, so.
And I just got put on the board of directors for a nonprofit that actually part of what they do is help veterans. And that's how I ended up on the board of directors. And none of us, nobody takes a penny for that. And it's all, you can look at the books and it's clean. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the books. All right.
I'll look at your books too, buddy. No, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it should be. You should take a salary thing. Then that kind of does away. It's still nonprofit, but you're making a profit, right?
I wouldn't know what I'm looking for, but I'm going to look at those books. All right.
You need the guy with the plastic pocket pen, protect pen, whatever it is, that.
Oh, here we go. See, you got something. Let's see. Carol says, Andy, thank you. Your work took care of my friend's son that was shot in Afghanistan. There you go. Yep. So you started that, and along with that, which that in itself I know is probably could be a full-time job, you decided to go into law enforcement, right?
Yes. In 2013, I took the police exam and went to the MBTA Police Academy, Transit Police Academy.
That is a very underrated job, working in those subways.
Yep.
A lot of people look at that and they're like, "Oh, you just."
Can someone let me in on that secret, please? Because I heard it's not
it's fucking crazy down there.
Cut your teeth, actually.
It's definitely one of the most underrated, underpaid police departments.
Underappreciated, I think, is probably the best word.
I mean, people treat you like you work for the T. Like, why isn't my Charlie card working? And I'm like, I don't care. I get a homeless guy with his pants down, pissing all over people on the train. I don't care.
This is not good.
You want to know about your Charlie card? What?
Right. Yeah, like. So, I did that job for almost 5 years, got a lot of experience, but I was like, I did not want to sit in a train station for the rest of my life. And a lot of guys were advising me to leave that were there for like longer, saying, get out now while you can. And I still have a ton of brothers over there, and that job's good. They finally just got a great raise that they deserved.
Yeah.
But I wanted to serve a community in a town and investigate a little bit more, smarter criminals, and so I came over to Winthrop PD.
All right. And you were with them for how long? 5
years. I've been in law enforcement for 10. I became a detective in Winthrop, I think after 2 years, maybe 3 years, and that was great. I became a smart investigator, better investigator. I learned so much on how to write search warrants, affidavits, worked with different agencies, and of course, a lot of my investigations were leading me outside of Winthrop. So I said, "Crap, man, I love it here so much. I got the life by the horns, but I'm too old to go back to So this is it. This is me. I'm gonna make do. This is great." And then one day, email came across my thing that said, because of nationwide that nobody wants to be police officers, BPD is taking transfers for the first time since 2007. Wow. And I said, this is my, I think I got to do this. I was already working in Boston a lot, East Boston in particular, for the different drugs and stuff that were getting pumped into Winthrop. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and I did it, and got sworn into the Boston police in March of this year.
Yeah, so we had talked a while back to Chief Delahanty. He came on actually while he was acting town manager also, and we had that discussion about retention in Winthrop and how it's not as competitive as the surrounding municipalities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's I would assume that there's a loyalty that you have, but when push comes to shove, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and there's definitely one thing I got to say in case anyone of importance is listening, and if it ever comes back to it, is that I am now working 800 feet in the opposite direction, and I have doubled my paycheck.
Yeah.
So anyone who's in charge of any type of police officers, like of the future of the police department in Winthrop, needs to understand that I'm still dealing with the same clientele, but I just work 800 feet more, and I'm making double. And that shouldn't be that way, and because the Winthrop guys are dealing with the same criminals that are in East Boston, literally.
Yeah, so, you know what? It's Winthrop. I always compared Winthrop to like an Air Force base, because I was security police on an Air Force base, and people think it's like small town living, and there's just as many dirtbags on an Air Force base or any military installation.
I had my gun out more in Winthrop than I did on the MBTA police. That's the truth. Seriously.
Winthrop is not that there's been an underbelly in Winthrop for decades.
I had my gun out more.
You moved out, Scott.
I had my gun out more in Winthrop than I did my time with the MBTA police. Yeah. And
so don't look at these officers like they're just doing detail work. I hear that and I see that. And I'm like, you fucking idiots. They have no idea. You know, all they think is, oh, they don't write tickets and they don't. That's a rabbit hole we could go down, but it doesn't. I think.
Well, we have to pick and choose our battles now. Yeah. I'm not going to get into an argument with a soccer mom about a frigging ticket when I'm probably tonight going to get into a roll with a gang member who's going to just accuse me that I got into a roll with him because I'm harassing him for whatever. Yeah. So it's like, do I write this ticket, get in an argument with these people when I know I'm going to probably get in an argument with a legitimate criminal tonight, be put on YouTube? So I think I'm going to do nothing until I have to get my hands dirty. So that's what it is. That's what the mentality is, you know?
And it's a whole new world of policing with these, you know, in your face with cell phones in your face for.
You wanted this, people. You wanted to punish us for what a cop did in Minnesota. And guess what? Now I'm not going to write you tickets all day long. How's that sound? You know, you voted or you wanted to, you're screaming on social media, and this isn't everybody, but these people know who you are. You voted and you're mad at policing needs to change for what a cop did in Kansas, for what a cop did in Minnesota. And then you want me to be a puppet for other stuff. Like, sorry.
Wasn't that always the thing? They hate us when they don't need us, but they love us when they do need us. And if we're just a minute late, they complain. It's just, it's a thankless, it's always been, it's not a thankless job. I stand corrected on that. It is not a thankless job. It actually can be a fulfilling job, a satisfying, if you know, of course, if you're doing the right thing. But there's a lot of people that get help that no one knows about.
A lot of true colors happened for me during the 2020 Trump election, the death of George Floyd. You know, I saw a lot of true colors. I lost a lot of emotional connectivity to the job, to the point where and I think a lot of cops across the world are, unless you're committing a felony, it's not worth us putting our family's life on the line, our reputation on the line, and being scrutinized on social media unless anyone's creating anything less than a felony, you know, or more than a felony. So it's like, just so yes, writing Mildred a ticket for parking, you know, on a snowstorm is just really not the top of the things I'm going to go and do work tonight, you know.
So now you're you're in the East Boston precinct?
No comment. I'm saying a lot of no,
Boston.
Yeah, no, I'm in East Boston right now, which is great. I asked them to put me in EC because I had known a lot of the people in the area doing particular, you know, crimes and stuff like that. So it was
it's a natural fit.
I'm still home. It wasn't even just about the criminal aspect, but I had been doing a lot of community service work in the East Boston, Winthrop area with the veterans, with the wounded vet run, and you know, the people I'm seeing on the street, the people that are getting pulled over, the people that are having crises know me from the area. So it's perfect. I asked them to allow me to police the same community I had been policing for the last 6 years, you know?
Yeah. Todd, you got any questions? I know I have a million for him, but.
he keeps, as we go further into this, he keeps answering the ones that I have,
okay.
But you did bring up something that made me think of a different question. Obviously, there's been over the years this segment of the population that's had an anti-cop sentiment, and that's another thing I can't thank you enough for doing. So thank you and your brothers and sisters. But I wonder, do you guys collaborate? Like, is there collaboration between police departments in the state, other munis, other states, other areas, support group type things, and conversations about what can be done, you know, to solve? I hate to use the word solve, but put something together that kind of puts that to bed.
It is, but it's weak as hell. And I'm sorry, but like the two most popular police unions, right? So you get the State Police Union of Massachusetts, who has a big voice. You have the Boston Police Association. And then I think the other one is you have the Massachusetts Mass Cops, right? There are voices, really. So, but like, we just suck. We friggin' suck. And every cop should know that. We suck. We are our own worst enemy. We're not good at social media of getting the word out there that we're doing great, amazing things. We somehow can't convince some of these politicians that we're doing good things. Like, I just don't understand where, you know, I've been not to toot my own horn, I've been very good with social media. I've been very good voice. I have testified at the State House for veterans rights. And I guess I will do it for police too, but I just figured maybe someone else could take the reins on that. I've been just working my tail off a lot, fighting for other causes other than like myself and my own family lately. So I was kind of trying to take a step back with that stuff lately, but we suck at social media. Like, even if we're trying to share a big story on our own social media pages, it gets like 3 views. It's like, that should be worded this way, or we should show the part where the guy has the gun out first, or we should show the part where we're crossing an old lady across the street. Why is this being showed? We just simply we need to step up or invest in our
reputation and your,
I don't want to say propaganda, but it's our social media,
it is what it is.
Policy.
Yeah, your public relations.
The people who are winning the war against cops are the people that sit on Twitter all day long. They're the loudest voices. They're the loudest voices on social media, and they get what they want.
And it's the smallest percentage of people.
It is, but like before you used to have to either show up to the State House, go buy permanent markers and poster board and a sign, show it at the State House, stay out there for 8 hours, and that was hard to do. Or you had to actually write a letter, go get a stamp, walk to the mailbox, and then mail it to your local politician. Now you can just knee-jerk reaction and an emotional fit, tweet your local state senator or state rep and say, "Oh my God, there's that." They crumble and crack under pressure, and then they start to react on social media. And that's what this whole country is based on, is just knee-jerk reactions and
instant gratification.
Feelings, not facts. And
feelings,
it's
not facts. So I'm sorry. Go on. Finish. I'm sorry.
I probably sound like I'm a hardcore conservative, and I'm not. Like, I am not. And this is just like ridiculous.
No, you're just being a police officer. It's talking from the vantage point of a police officer.
It is. I respect and love everybody out there. That's why I wear the police uniform. I will give my life for anybody of any race, color, creed, in religion. But I mean, we got to get real here, or the wrong people are going to be running the show.
So in all of this, getting out of the military, going back to college, starting your law enforcement career, and this came about during, I believe you were a Winthrop police officer when you wrote the book, The Rifle, right?
I started it as a transit cop. Yeah, I wrote the book, The Rifle. I started interviewing. What happened was I was seeing World War II veterans still take the train to go to their VA appointments, like these little 98-year-old men getting off Back Bay Station with the world just swarming around them, and them coming up to me like, "Oh, what train do I get to go to Jamaica Plain?"
Yeah. And
I was like, "How old are you?" And one time the guy got mad at me. He goes, "What does it matter how old I am?" I'm like, "Sir, I'm sorry. I just, And he's like, "Oh, well, 96. I go, "So you were in World War II?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I was in the 88th Division. I fought in Italy." And here he is.
Yeah.
In the middle of
chaos,
downtown crossing, trying to get the damn train. And he got off the commuter rail from Bellingham, to go to the Jamaica Plain VA. And so I started to realize like how few of these guys are left walking around. And I really kicked it in gear. I interviewed over 300 World War II veterans and chose 19 of the best stories to write that book, The Rifle.
It's a great book. It's a great book. I highly recommend that people, and it's a very good read. It's not a difficult read. It's stories. It's people's stories. And they're very interesting. And you picked, I'm assuming you knew what you were doing. You picked some great stories, but I want to talk about chapter 15, Al Bucarelli.
Yeah.
Jesus. That was an amazing story. This guy, he was 2 days away from being like at the shipyard, being a welder, safe from the draft. 2 days away, and he gets pulled into the war, ends up in North Africa, right? And then he was, I don't know, you probably don't remember the whole thing, but
of course I do. Yeah, he was a good friend of mine. He died last year.
Yeah. He went to North Africa.
I have his prosthetic leg sitting in the other room.
That's right. He had the prosthetic, and that happened when he was. They were laying cable, right?
Yeah.
They were HQ.
Yeah.
And then they decided to advance their telecommunications. They wanted to be the telecommunications for the whole area.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the middle of a field, him and his friend Ray.
Yes.
And that's amazing. He didn't know Ray's last name.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He just
so Al was from Charlton, Massachusetts.
Charlton, yes.
And he lost his leg in Italy, right outside of Monte Cassino. Artillery blew it up, and he was so embarrassed he didn't want to go back home because he didn't want to show his mom he had lost his leg. And he told the nuns that were taking care of him in Italy, he's like, I really don't want to go home. And they prayed for him. They took care of him and shipped him back home. And he cried when he saw his mom because he didn't want to show her that he lost his leg and he got maimed. And
well, he ended up in Newsport, Virginia.
Yep.
Newport News.
Yep.
Yeah, Virginia, and his father and his father's friend surprised him and came to visit him.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm about to cry just talking about this.
Yeah,
because it is that, I'm telling you, people, it is that heart-wrenching. It's that riveting of a story, and that's just one chapter. That's the one that stuck out to me. And I'm telling you, if you get a chance, get the book. It's on Amazon. It's called The Rifle. But that one chapter, dude, just kind of ripped my heart out. And then you decide that you wanted to take him, right?
I wanted to take him back to Italy where he lost his leg. And
75th anniversary?
Yep, of the liberation of Rome. And he had no idea that I had found Ray's grave.
Yeah, well, you found it in a restaurant, right? You went on your phone, right? Is that how that happened?
Yep, I started looking at all the Rays and Raymonds buried at the Rome American Cemetery, and I found a Ray from headquarters company of the 3rd Infantry Division, and I said, well, how do I know this is the guy? And it was the same date Al lost his leg.
Yes.
That was the same explosion.
Wow.
Well, you narrowed it down from like 50 Rays to 20 to 2.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And then you figured out, and you didn't tell. And now, how hard was that to keep that in? That, hey, I found him. Like, you must have just been just flowing with energy. Like, I can't believe I can just found this guy.
Yeah.
And we're
going to
get
what his reaction was going to be. You know, I thought so. I looked up, I think there was like 50 Rays or Raymonds. I got it down to the correct division that gave me like 14. Then I got it down to the right regiment that gave me 3. And I said, how do I know which? Then I said, Al, when did you lose your leg? He's like, November 12th, 1943. And sure enough, Ray James from Kentucky was killed November 12th, 1943. And that was the same, because his squad leader got killed by the same explosion that took his leg. So I found it. I didn't say a word. I took him to the graveyard. I took him down specifically the row of graves just to see if you would notice.
Yeah.
I was pretending like we were looking for guys from Boston or something.
Yeah.
When he saw that grave, I mean, he almost collapsed. He was crying, holding on to it. And
you did the right thing. You told everyone stay back, because there was a group of you like,
it was like the scene from the opening of Saving Private Ryan where the guy like collapses and holds on to the
dude.
And we lost Al last year. We lost him at age 97. So he had a good run, and
that was yeoman's work, though. Finding, like, just doing that. That's like your detective skills were kicking in right there.
I've done
natural born.
I've done so many more 80-year-old, 75-year-old battlefield investigations, more than just Ray's story. It goes on and on and on. Yeah. I find out where I'm now bringing back the kids of World War II veterans to show them where their parents were killed.
So
wow.
Yeah. So now the kids are in their 70s, and I'm bringing them back overseas to show them where their father was killed in action,
So there was also somebody else that went with you, right? Your friend from East Boston who you had coffee with.
Rocco, yeah.
Rocco every Sunday, right? And the fact that guy tried to hand you a $2,500 check, right? And I was reading that and I'm thinking, there's no way this guy is going to back down. Like, you were like, I argued with them. I'm like, no. And like, how can you deny? Like, okay, you finally said, all right, Rocco, I'll take the check. Yeah. And the check wasn't just for him. Who else was it for? For you.
He paid my way.
Yeah. He did it for you.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is an amazing.
And he'll come on this show. He's still alive.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And he's got an iPad, and he'll talk heavy politics with you.
Oh, geez.
Yep. He doesn't care. He calls DC on his own every now and then.
Do you still have coffee with him?
Oh, please. I just got his driver's license back for him. They took it away.
How do you do that?
I took him to the RMV. He passed every test.
There you go. There you go. So how many people, how many veterans? Oh, I just want to touch on that chapter. One more thing in that the fact that you guys arrived there and there was nothing. There was nothing commemorating the 70. And I know you see that gets you a little upset because that in the book you were like, you started really festering inside of you. And you started really getting aggravated once you started, and you're like, you know what? That's fucking right. This is bullshit. Right?
You know, it's whatever. It's, you know, basically what Scott's saying is that, you know, if you go to June 6th in Normandy, France, the commemorations every year are hundreds of thousands of people, American flags waving, thank you for our liberation. But we went to the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Rome, and there wasn't a cricket, you know? And here I am with these, and Rocco was really weird. It was devastated because he remembers in 1994 when Clinton came for the 75th anniversary of liberation of Rome, there was thousands of people. And then the 75th, there was nothing. There wasn't even a,
he went to the 30th and the 50th, right?
Yeah.
Rocco did. He went to 30th and the 50th, and he actually had his picture.
75th, and there wasn't even as much as a wreath laying.
He had his picture taken with Clinton and all, you know, so, but there's a twist to this story, right? The photographs.
Yes.
So can you bring us up on that, how that played out?
Rocco is a typical loudmouth from East Boston, old Italian guy. And he comes in Italy and he's carrying this trash bag full of like black and white photos and documents that were written by typewriter. And I'm like, why are you dragging this stuff around? He saved it all. Over the years of all of his crap. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, I want to go to this town and talk to Jerry Giacomo and all this. And I'm like, no one's going to know who you are. No one's going to remember what you did, you know, whatever. Well, foot and mouth. Okay. We go to this little town. There's a couple guys smoking cigarettes at a little monument. Rocco breaks open this. Rocco wants to go talk to these people. I'm like, oh my God, I'm rolling my eyes. Like, this is just, these people aren't going to understand what we're saying. Nothing. He breaks open the trash bag, starts taking out black and white photos. Slap me silly. These people are jumping up and down, pointing out people they know in the photos.
Speaking in Italian, you don't know what the hell they're saying, right?
Italian, they drag us down the alleyway. They start banging on this door. This 98-year-old woman comes out. She's in the photos. We're like, what? She's got
Aspetta, andiamo.
Yeah, her house is riddled. Fotografica. Bullets. Okay.
I just said her house has still got bullet holes in it.
And it was unbelievable. They're pointing her out in the photos. Her kids are coming out. They're pointing out all the. Oh my God, it was awesome. I was crying. I was crying more there than I was at the cemetery when I met Al's squad leader's grave. You know, so.
Yeah, that's an amazing twist, right? Something out of the clear blue. And next thing you know, there's this, you lit up that whole town's probably, or at least half the town, you lit them up for a day. Or probably longer than that.
It was great. It was a great moment. And then at the end of the day, they told us they wish Mussolini won. And then that was like, oh. I'm kidding.
That's gotta be pretty soul nourishing work, though, if you think about it, right?
Oh my God!
You know, you climb a mountain and you see the sun and the above the tree line and all that. And you're like, wow, this is a great place to live. If you ever have the good fortune to save a life, I'm sure that's a pretty good rush too. You know, and what you're doing, it's yeoman's work. I mean, it's
I loved it.
You're spreading the good word, brother.
I know, I loved it, and
how many people? How many people?
I've just taken the kids are older now. I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So when they were really young, and I could do it because they wouldn't even know I was gone or missing or out of the house. Now I it's a lot to do. So I've stepped back from the wounded veteran, still doing a little World War II stuff here and there. I got the second book coming out, Rifle 2, in September. So that's going to be another.
I got my M1 right up there. I got an M1 carbine and M1 Garand right up there.
Nice.
Yeah, great guns. Heavy as a bastard.
Yeah.
When the carbine came out, it came out in the Pacific. We're not going to get into the history of guns or anything, but came out in the Pacific first. And see, this is how crazy it was back then. I read stories that these guys would put their M1s down, like, you know, whatever, platoon, and they'd leave, they'd go eat, and next day come back, and their M1 would be gone. Their carbine's gone, and the Garand is in its place. Like, I'm taking this. This is a nice light gun. Because the Garand is not a light weapon.
Right.
And it's not light at all.
Right.
That is so cumbersome. How they carried that thing through, what they carried it through. And it's the gun that won the war, right?
Seriously. Yeah, the M1 Garand. That's what General Patton said. It's the rifle that won the war.
Yep, the rifle that won the war. So how many people have you taken over?
I think I have brought over 30 to 40 World War II veterans to the battlefields they served on, in the Netherlands, Germany, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Belgium, huge Belgium battle, the Bulge area. Yeah.
Wow. So Rocco, I think, if I remember correctly, he had said he went and saw the monument, and he said, "This is the last time I'm ever going to see this."
Yeah. It says probably the last.
Pretty powerful, man.
I'm still holding out. Him and I will do one more trip, but yeah, he's hurting. You know, it's hard for him to get around, and there's more. There's behind the closed doors scene stuff that he's dealing with, and but I want to bring him one more time.
How grounded he has to be able to just accept that and just say, what the fuck?
He's a different breed. I mean, the house he's in right now, he's like, yep, was born on the kitchen table, and I'm gonna die here too. So
yeah.
Wow.
They don't build them like that anymore. They don't build them like that anymore, man.
No, they don't.
No. So let me ask you a question that I'm sure you've been asked, and I've never personally asked you. I've heard people ask you. My brother might say that he heard somebody ask. Politics. Any interest in running for office eventually?
This country gets what they deserve, so no. You know what I mean?
Say that now. No, you say no now.
We get what we deserve. You
do. You get what you vote for. You get the government you vote for.
So, no politics, and I don't see it. I don't see it unless there was something extravagant, as some sort of war waged on veterans benefits, where I don't know. But I don't think so. My goal would be to do another 20, 19, 18 years on BPD, and hopefully come back to Winthrop, accept a position that's open here for something.
There you go.
I'd like to do that.
So you've been to the State House in Massachusetts. Have you been to DC? And talked.
Yeah.
DC? Yeah.
Yep. I've been to the Capitol building. I've been to the Pentagon, the Boston State House, obviously. Yeah. I helped with the Valor Act Part 2 in Massachusetts. And then I've been doing VA claims and veterans benefits and getting guys their discharge upgraded, things like that.
Right. Well, I don't know what else to talk about with you, my friend. I know this isn't the end of the story, though. There's another book coming out. Oh. Are you in the process of doing it right now?
No, it's all finished. It's just the release date. It comes out in September.
So can we get a sneak peek of what is it? Is it another M1 being signed?
It's volume 2. It's the rifle volume 2, but it's all the guys that were complete screw-ups when they came home. So it's not just stories of the greatest generations, guys who ended up in jail, guys who became alcoholics, guys that were liars,
thieves and
stuff. But still made it into their 90s and had eventually a successful life, So it's all the veterans I met that weren't perfect.
Right. But there wasn't a rifle involved in this per se.
There was, yeah.
So physical rifles.
Yeah, so it's still the names from the same rifle, just the guys that were not the greatest generation, So
are they on the same rifle?
Yes, sir.
How are you fitting all these names on there?
None of your business. Right?
I'm looking at it right here, and I'm like, I don't know where you're fitting all these names.
I upgraded to the book's called the Bazooka. All right,
the Bazooka. You're gonna need a Sherman tank eventually.
I wish.
It's called the tank.
Hey,
he's learned to write small.
If you got 300,000, I know someone who's selling a Sherman.
I don't think Boca Raton is ready for a Sherman tank, my friend.
Well, yeah, what's the upside? If I had 300,000 to spend on that, what do I get back besides a tank?
You get a Sherman tank, buddy. Look at
that's about it, right?
I have an 8.5 foot, 300-pound Hulk in my living room.
If you took a Sherman tank down Revere Beach, how many girls would climb on that thing? All right.
No, I'd be rolling around with the pointing at it. Go, oh, what did you say you wanted me to do?
So, all right, let me ask you this question then. How did you track down this version of veterans?
Well, they were always, so I think when I wrote Rifle 1, I probably only had 150 guys I had interviewed and girls.
Yeah.
And I continued it, added more names, got to 300, and I was finding so many more unique stories and guys that didn't come home and have great lives. And I thought maybe how many young veterans would need to hear these stories too, to say, oh, wow, this guy almost attempted suicide. Wow, this guy ended up in jail. Oh, this guy was an alcoholic. Oh, this guy was a domestic abuser, and they all were able to straighten themselves out eventually. And I think a lot of maybe young veterans need to hear that, or anyone else hasn't been perfect in life. And that they need to see that the greatest generation wasn't so great too, as well. And that they were human,
Yeah. Now I
asked a German veteran to write the foreword for me.
Yeah. That's amazing too. That's a whole nother story. The German soldier and one of the guys you took over, they met and they actually fought against each other. That was
I've done that 3 times.
That's absolutely amazing.
United German veterans with American veterans,
Yeah. How many did you have a nurse in there? Did you
in the book?
Yeah. Is there a nurse? Where did I see that? You had a female.
I have probably 10 female World War II veterans that signed my rifle. They were recruiters, nurses, stenographers, and physical therapists during World War II in the Army. Yeah. And that's right there in itself. Like my friend, I think you might know him, John Farmer. His mom was a woman Marine. She's 90 I remember her. Yeah.
Lorraine Farmer.
Is she still alive?
Yeah.
All right, good. Mm-hmm.
She absolutely is. And she's as vibrant as she was when she was kicking me and Johnny's ass. Climbing into the house drunk. So that's amazing that you find all these different veterans, and that the second book in itself is a whole different ball of wax, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is good. I look forward to that one. Todd, anything else? I know I kind of, like I said, I have a lot of questions.
Well, listen, you had the better ones anyway.
Yeah.
No, I thought this was great. I'm in awe of the work you do just to help people. It's and how you found the time. Obviously now it's, as you said, it's getting tougher with the kids, and you know what? You really want to not miss those years anyway. So hopefully someone else can pick up the mantle, and then you can get back to it in your golden years if you want.
Screenplay? Has anyone written a screenplay?
Yeah. Movie. Someone's asking if you can write.
I mean, we're trying. There's been a few leads, a few hints, but to me, they're gonna. A lot of people try to steal from you too. A lot of people are trying to steal from my social media page, interview World War II veterans that I'm already interviewed. They're in my book to make their own books. Like, it's kind of cutthroat, So I hope it goes to movies, but
yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow. Dude, yeah. Once they see a successful thing, there's always the cockroaches that want to get in on it. Yeah. Try to steal.
I had such high hopes for humanity.
Well, listen, my friend,
yep.
You're a special type of man.
Thank you.
For sure, man.
Talk about they don't build them like this anymore. They don't build them like you. Not many.
Thank
and
you.
What you've done is amazing. I'm proud of you. I know everybody around you is proud of you. I got my friend actually he's like, give me that book. I go, buy the thing, you cheap bastard.
On Amazon, the rifle. Leave me an Amazon and hey, Scotty, leave me an Amazon review too. That helps a lot.
I think I did when I bought it, but I'll do it again. Also, we forgot, before we forget, the GoFundMe. Tell us about the GoFundMe.
Yeah, tell us about the GoFundMe. Yeah, good one, Scott.
Right now, I'm trying to bring 4 more veterans to the 79th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. 79 years. They are doing commemorations in Belgium, in the town of Bastogne, and I have a GoFundMe right now to bring those veterans back. And the bus that we've used on all my last 10 trips actually got caught in a garage fire in which like some horses were killed too. Next door was a big fire in Belgium. And so we're trying to, the bus was insured, but the handicap accessible equipment, like the chairlift, the ramp and stuff was not. So that's part of the GoFundMe as well. And I sent the link in the private chat as well. So do
you apply for grants?
I don't. I got to get better at that, but I don't.
Dude, get a grant writer. It's absolutely, they pay off in spades, man. A good grant writer is something that the foundation would really benefit from.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to do that.
Yeah, so look into that. Well, once again, my friend, it's a pleasure, always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, if you get anyone else that wants to come, let's do it.
Yeah. And stay safe out there, my friend. I know you will.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it, Andy.
Be good. Keep us safe. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk soon, buddy.
All right, brother.
God bless, guys.
I put the link in the comments for the GoFundMe. But we'll post it other places. So, well, there you go.
Wow.
Sorry I took up a lot of that.
Nah, I was enjoying the conversation.
Yeah.
It's like one of the, I was thinking about this, actually. I was thinking about interviewing you too, right? Because you spent how many years over the Philippines?
I spent 2 in the Philippines, but I had a pretty interesting military career. It wasn't war-based, but, working K9 in the military is a...
Being another, for me, it's I mean, obviously, as much as war is hell, it's also admirable to know people who help people who have been through war, right? Or who are willing to go to war. But that's not all there is in the military. There's other things.
So yeah, that's kind of what how I ended up. I did 22 years with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, anti-terrorism, anti-smuggling, K9, blah blah blah. Then when I got out, kind of did podcasting. I met you, right? And we had we hit it off, and we have this great show that's going on. Episode 93 now, 92. But recently I started, I went to the VA. I have my problems, So I go to the VA and I got put onto this organization, the Herd Foundation, equine assisted learning / therapy, veterans and horses. It was fucking amazing. And I ended up on their board of directors, but it's so like, today I worked with 2 veterans groups and because now they have me working for them, right? It's volunteer. I don't want any money. I told them I don't want any money. I don't need the money. My pay is giving back. So I'm working with, I'm fresh to this, but I'm getting certified in natural lifesmanship, horsemanship, things like that. But it's just so satisfying giving back to these veterans because this program really changed me. It really did change me.
The horse therapy.
Yeah, the equine assisted learning it absolutely changed me. It's amazing what you find out about yourself.
You can't take your horse on the plane, though.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, they're not good they can't find drugs or bombs for shit. But that's what I'm doing now, kind of giving back to the veterans. I'm kind of working with that group through the foundation. They handle other groups too, but giving back is it's a special thing. It's a special thing, and I always tell people, if you have the opportunity, like you, my friend, running for office is giving back to the community. It's time consuming, but it can be frustrating, but at the same time, it's fulfilling.
Well, yeah, I'm certainly not doing it for the money or for the love that's going to be thrown my way.
And though we know you will get elected, even if you don't, the fact that you stood up, you've already served on the school committee. Right. Yep. So you've done more than 99% of the people in the town, right, who will sit back and ridicule you and hate on you, but they're sitting in their nice, cushy house while you're at a meeting after you worked a full day and you took your kids to to practice and you're stepping up, We
got to do what we got to do to leave the world a better place for our children.
That's it. And giving back is if you ever have a chance to give back, pay it forward. Give it back.
Got to do it.
It's very fulfilling. And I could, like I said, I could be taking money for this, but I told them no. At least not yet.
There's a question in here. Can we go in voluntarily at VA hospital? I assume.
Yeah,
right?
what you want to do is you
assuming
can, but you have to register with the VA, and usually doing that's not hard. It's not a hard process, registering with the VA. If you're a veteran, you find a veterans advocate. Every VA has one, and the American Legion has very good veterans advocates. Contact your local American Legion. They will put you in touch with a veteran advocate who will guide you through the process. And if you did serve and you have, my husband and dad were, if you have any type of injuries that happened while you're in it, PTSD really got overlooked for decades, really got overlooked. So you can file for a claim, and if you become 40% disabled, just 40%, then they cover your medical. They cover all your medical, most of it.
there you go.
So it could be a grind, but it took me a long time to do it. My pride got in my way. I didn't have any problems. I didn't have any issues. Nah. Well, I'm serious. And then you're like, I don't need the money. Let them take the money. Give it to these kids. Give it to these kids. Then somebody else with a group of my friends, we're meeting actually in November again every year. Like it could be, I don't know, 9, 10 to 15 of us get together that was stationed in the Philippines. Now, that was like a band of brothers over there back in 87 to 89. There's probably it covers from 85 to 90, but we're sitting around and we're telling these stories, and a couple of them go, dude, you're fucked up. Like they're like, nah, it took another veteran to say, you need to go talk to, because I saw some shit. I saw some crazy shit just being a cop in the military.
Sure.
It's not nice seeing a 19-year-old kid that decided to eat a shotgun shell in a dorm room, No, and you still got to do your job. It's just like I was talking to Andy earlier, and this isn't about me. The show was about Andy, and it's a great show. I'm just kind of riffing off of, veterans and there's things that you got to deal with, and that was just one incident that I saw.
That's fascinating.
But yeah, talk to the American Legion, look up Veterans Advocate to the Facebook user, and go register with the VA and start getting what they deserve. They should get what they have coming to them. Your father might be a little different to do because the older we get, the more prone we are to say, nah, I'm good, but it's worth a shot. Yeah, call the VA, or like I said, Google veterans advocates. I assume they're in Massachusetts. Veteran advocates. And like I said, the VFW has them, the VA has them. They are the ones that you want to get in touch with.
I'm sure Roseanne, my God, I know a Tranfaglia, but there's a Roseanne and her name's escaping me that's in Veterans Affairs.
Yeah. So Veterans Affairs is a whole different thing. It's a corporation.
Yep.
The VA, just like anything in the government, is like a corporation. It runs deep. Right. But the advocate is the person that is on your side. They will help you file for your disability claims. They will help you find what you need to find. And good luck. Good luck. And they should do it. They should get what they have coming to them. And that's what somebody said to me. Like, dude, this is owed to you. Like, you did 10 years of your life. I carried a gun for 10 years for this country, and so I decided, all right, I'll do it. And it's amazing what it's done for me so far. A lot of buried stuff, buddy.
Yeah. You got to dig it up. You got to get it out.
Well, so back then it was like one of those deals. Like, okay, you come from that suicide, and you got to handle the whole situation. It's in a dorm, it's chaos, and then it's over, and you go back to work. You got to go on the next call, like what Andy does on a daily basis. You see the dregs of society, you see the worst of what happens, and you don't get to go home. If you're in an office environment and somebody, I don't know, decides to try to kill themselves, maybe the office is like, all right, take the rest of the day. Everybody, we're going to give you some help. We're going to give you some help. We're going to bring the military's like, go back to work. Like, yeah. Hey, the gate, you got to go relieve the gate for chow. Midnight chow. You got to make sure they get on midnight chow. It's like they don't help you with this stuff. You got to process this yourself, right?
You do, and my understanding of, obviously, I'm not speaking from experience, but if you're in the heat of battle, that stuff just keeps piling up while you're going through it, and then all of a sudden, when things are quiet, if they ever really are quiet again, it starts to come back to you. Things that you
as you get older, this is exactly how I put it. And I talked to my friend's son about this, who came back from Iraq, had some horror stories, and he was telling him, like, I'm talking to you. He's a young kid. I said, Chris, it chips away at the stone. Even the toughest piece of granite will eventually crack. And you have to be careful. You have to pay attention to that. Because what you're saying to me right now in the tone that you're telling me, Chris, isn't normal. Like, you're 19. You have no right telling me this story because you shouldn't have been in it.
Right.
So just be careful, And that's when it hit me when I was older. But enough about that. That was a great show. Andy put on a great
very
show.
Enjoyable. It was a great one. I can't wait to have him back, honestly.
Yeah, when the second book comes out, we'll have him back on. And there we are. We're over an hour.
Yep. Another good night, another great show.
Yeah.
Didn't talk a lot of politics. Hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, we don't need to, like, every once in a while, we just have a little break in the action. We have a guest and good scoop, Todd. You're the one that got this interview. So good scoop for you, man.
Yeah, I gotta thank Robert Del Rossi and Anthony Cavassa, otherwise known as Covey Tone.
Yeah.
They helped put this together too.
Yeah.
Big fans of the show.
So he has his own Winthrop business, right?
He is like a property manager.
Right. And he's in Winthrop. He's from Winthrop, right?
He's from Winthrop, but his properties, he's in like the Boston area, Beacon Hill stuff. He's got stuff all around.
Right.
He does pretty well that way.
Okay. All right.
He's doing good. He's got some inventions. This kid Anthony's brain is always working.
Yeah.
He's got some inventions coming out, hopefully sooner than later. He's like working with a lawyer.
So
and they got stuff coming out.
So we have people from Winthrop that have their own businesses. Doesn't necessarily have to be within Winthrop. And sometimes we bring them on and they can talk about their business, right? And maybe we can bring him on one show. Because I know he's pretty entertaining.
And I've so he watches, so he'll see this, and Anthony, we'll put it out there. I'd love to have you on.
Yeah, like I said, it's a break for the people that watch us rant weekly.
Yeah.
They watch us, we give them a break, bring in some entertainment.
I'll make fun or whatever.
All right, my friend. Well, bring it out.
Yeah, I'll bring it out. So, all politics starts at the local level. Please make sure you spread the word. If you like our show, share it. It's not just about politics, but it is important to pay attention. So please keep coming back. Share it. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next week.
August 25th, Todd's Meet the Candidate at Adriana's by the bridge. Be there. First 15 people get a free gourmet cheeseburger. Like I always say, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you like it, share it. If you didn't, well, thanks for watching for an hour and 8 minutes. We appreciate that. And, as I always say, you are the engine that drives this machine. Without you viewers, it would just be me and Todd doing this. And, well, sometimes that's doesn't end well. We don't fight anymore. You notice that? We don't argue anymore. I miss those days.
I'll have to bring something up. I'm getting dull.
But see, now when we argue, it's professional. It's
all right.
It's not a heated debate like we used to have.
Are you a good actor? We can try and act.
Next week on Winthrop Votes, a total blowout between Scott and Todd. A throwdown, a battle royal over what's better, living in Winthrop in the winter or Florida in the summer? What's better?
I'm tough over the keyboard.
I know you are. I learned that. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.